So, in this part of the chapter, we're going to be talking about SMART goals. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is a SMART goal? So, you might think SMART can stand for anything. Something like seriously, meticulous, adorable, respectful, toddlers. But that is not what this means at all. Our SMART goals are more something like this. When we set a goal, we want to make it A, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely goal. Let's put these SMART goals into a situation now. So you're a salesman at a big insurance company. Let's say your name's Jeff. Jeff, in the first scenario, isn't using SMART goals. He just says he wants to make more money next year by increasing more sales. We don't really know anything about Jeff, how many sales he's had previously, or anything else of when he wants to accomplish this goal. In scenario 2, let's say Rachel. Rachel's also a salesman in the same insurance company. She wants to increase by 30% in 2022 her sales. Now we know exactly what Rachel wants to do in exactly how much time. It is still attainable and realistic to obtain both these goals because 30% is a well-rounded number for a goal. Let's say Rachel had 500 sales in 2021. As a realistic goal in 2022, if she wants to raise that number by 30%, she's aiming for 650 sales, which is an increase of 150 sales. Pretty simple, but she's far and above ahead over Jeff, who has no certain goals, who doesn't have any realistic expectations, just really kind of wants to improve his sales and make more money, more likely. So now we can ask ourselves, what are the next steps for Rachel? Well, first, we want to make sure the goals are public. If the goals are public, it is proven that it's more likely to get those goals done. If this includes anything from writing them on your desk on a sticky note that you look at every day, or if it includes writing them on a mirror so you can stare at them and say, I need to accomplish these goals, that's the first thing to make yourself more successful. Next is to get support from top management. If you get the go-ahead on top management and they agree with you that say, hey, this is actually probably a good goal for you, we think this is attainable, we think this is a great goal for you to reach, we really want you to go for it. So that's awesome. We need to get that done from top management. Then setting benchmarks is really a good idea as well. So if 2022, we can split it into quarterly. So if we check in once every 4 months, we can see that maybe we did 200 sales in the first month, and then another 200, and let's say 150 there. Here, we're already past 3/4 of the goal. So this, maybe you need to increase this even higher. Instead of going to 650, raise it to, I don't know, 700. And maybe that's your new goal because you're killing it so high throughout your benchmarks. Or it could be opposite. Even if you do worse, let's say in the first quarter, you only do 100 sales. And now you only have 100 sales in the second quarter. Well, you only have 200 out of your 650 sales as your goal. So in these 2 quarters, you're going to be able to make up 450 sales. So if you keep going on with your goal and you keep looking at those benchmarks, you know exactly where you're at the whole year. Finally, getting feedback's the most important part too. So if you get support from your manager, of course feedback's going to be a huge part as well. It goes on with these benchmarks also. If they see that you're slacking, they could come back around and say, hey, you really need to pick up the pace, you need to make up more sales, you need to get more clients, anything as well. Or what we can hope for is an even better thing, where they say, hey, you're killing it this year. Between these 3 quarters, you're already at 550. We want you to go for higher here. If you hit 150 here, you'll be able to hit that 700 goal that we want to set for you instead. So getting feedback is really the most important part of all these SMART goals. I hope this video helped you guys out a little bit with understanding what SMART goals are and how they're beneficial to a workplace or even your everyday life. These don't have to be anything business related, school related, anything like that. It could be even something personal. If you want to lose weight, if you want to eat healthier, you can set out SMART goals and SMART plans for yourself to really help you achieve your goals. Thanks for listening.
Hi there, my name is Gideon Hockenbarger, and I am owner of White Brush Miniatures. where I make these stupid little things and sell them to people for money. I've made over $40 this year, so basically you could call me Jeff Bezos. Now, I know what you must be asking. Gideon, how do I become a successful business owner like yourself? What are the steps that you take to make decisions in your company? What are the risks? To which I would normally answer, what are you doing in here and why are you asking so many questions? Get out before I call security. But, because this is for my final grade, I guess I can help you out. When it comes to making decisions, it can help to have a standard procedure that you can follow. Decades of research have led to the development of a 6-step process for rational decision making, which goes as follows. First, you have to be able to define and identify what the problem actually is. This requires a decision maker to have 3 things: knowledge of a gap between what their current state is and what they want it to be, the desire and motivation to bridge that gap, and the resources to do so, such as time, skills, money, etc. For instance, let's take a look at this printer. This 3D printer is broken. I broke it, somehow. I don't know how, but I broke it. I had to contact customer support so that I could figure out just where on the broken scale I had landed. The next step is to identify the criteria you're going to use to make your decision. Here, I have to decide what I'm going to do with my printer. What are my options, and what are they going to require me to do? In this instance, I need to consider the time it's going to take to get my printer up and running, the monetary cost of whatever decision I land on, the technical skill it's going to require me to have, the quality of my new prints, and how am I going to handle customers whose orders I can't fulfill right now. After you've identified the criteria for making a decision, it's time to weight them, which is determining which criteria is most important to you. This way, when it comes time to compare alternatives, you can accurately measure how well each option fits your needs. There are 2 forms of weights: relative comparison and absolute comparison. Relative comparisons have you weight criteria as they compare to each other. The most important criterion is placed at the top, the next most important directly below it, and so on. This way you can identify which criterion is most important to you. The only downside being that criterion that are still important will land at the bottom, have almost no impact, and run the risk of being banished to the shadow realm. Absolute comparisons, on the other hand, require each criterion to be weighted based on its own merits, typically on a scale from 1 to 5. This way you can determine the actual importance of each individual criterion. However, you may end up rating every criterion at a 5, at which point, well... Now it's on to the fun part. It's time to generate alternate courses of action. Here's where methods like brainstorming, devil's advocate, or the nominal group technique can really shine through. You can throw out as many solutions to the problem as possible, and the group can help you weed out bad ones and pin up good ones.
What if we bought a multi-$1,000 printer to replace the old desktop one?
It is best to keep these solutions realistic, though.
I have a better idea. What if we got a multi-$1,000 printer to replace the old desktop one, but then we started printing our own 3D printers?
Now we're talking. The 5th step of rational decision making is to evaluate each alternative. In this step, you're going to take each of your options and compare them individually to each of your criteria. These scores will be used in the final step to evaluate which alternative is the best solution for you. For instance, in my case, I've used a relative comparison scale, in which I've gone from 1 to 5, 1 being the least important, 5 being the most important. Then, I've assigned for each criterion one number, again from 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best, for each of my options. For instance, if I were to buy a new printer, it wouldn't take me much time or skill, and I'd be able to improve on quality while maintaining customer relations. However, it would cost me a lot of money. If I wanted to replace the broken part of my printer, it would be cheap, it wouldn't require a whole lot of skill, and I'd be able to maintain my current quality and customer relations. However, it is going to take me a lot of time. And as for the take it out back and go all office space on it option, I think you can see how that one lands. Finally, you're ready to make your decision. In this step, you're going to take the weight assigned to each criterion, and for all of the individual options, you're going to multiply the weight by the score you gave it in the last step. Add up all of your scores, and you'll have your total. Do this for each individual option, and the alternative with the highest score is the best solution for you. For me personally, this means that I should buy a new replacement part for my old printer. It won't cost me very much money, it won't take a whole lot of skill, and it means that I won't have to compromise on my quality. However, it is going to take me a lot of time, and I might have to deal with some negative customer relations in the meanwhile. While this 6-step method to rational decision making can be quite effective, it doesn't always work like it should. It assumes that there are unlimited time, resources, and motivation to reach the goal and determine an optimal solution. Remember, an optimal solution is the one that delivers the maximum benefits to the organization. However, it often isn't an option to research every possible alternative and see how every criteria affects each alternative. Given this, decision makers rarely make rational decisions. Instead, their decisions are affected by what we call bounded rationality. That is, they are bounded by the realities of their situation, be those time, money, or personal interests. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go exercise my personal interests on this printer with a baseball bat.
Hi, my name is Colby Davis, and I will be telling you about how using groups to improve decision making is a great idea to bring many advantages into the workplace. Managers can use groups to overcome pitfalls that come with making a lot of decisions on a regular basis. Today I'll be addressing a group technique that helps with cognitive type of conflicts, or C-type conflict. This may arise with differences in opinions between people in the workplace. Devil's advocate is the one technique that I'll be telling you today that I find very effective to put in the workplace, especially when a group is thinking of new ways for the company to do something around the office or even an event. Such as, I will be telling you about a little scenario where devil's advocate would work very well. Your group has been assigned to come up with the new idea for your fundraising event for the company's favorite charity event coming up next month. You've been told by your manager that you'll be playing devil's advocate in the group to help get the best ideas. As the devil's advocate, you'll be advocating for the opposing opinion for the sake of the argument and asking lots of questions to the group. So when working within your group, start with debates between everyone in the group, such as, will that cost the company a lot of money, or will that venue have enough parking? Lots of questions like that to get small details that maybe they haven't thought about into the conversation. Play devil's advocate is a great way to critique your group ideas before putting them into action. This will more than likely increase the execution and quality of your event come the day. While this may have been only one technique to improve your decision making, I think devil's advocate is one of the best because I believe this will help the group get more comfortable and open up about their new ideas and options that maybe you guys have never even considered.